be back shortly. If y'all stay for your first 2 minutes. And compliments to the eyes over here. Sir? Brother? Great. Love the students. So,
as some of you may know, I grew up in the Chicago area, so I decided to go back there last month and list some of the things that made living there so much fun. As I lived in the Chicago area until November 25, 1986, when I moved to Florida because my parents have shit for brains, because Florida is a fucking cesspool of fucking shit. And not only that, the weather is too fucking hot there. I left for the Chicago area on April 10, and that was in jeopardy because they were forecasting 12 inches of snow that night, as it is rare to get that much snow in April, and I like it when it snows, but not when I'm planning on going on a fucking trip. I was lucky enough to get out of Minnesota to miss the snow. For once, I actually got lucky. The main reason why I decided to go to the Chicago area is so I could make videos of trains and make videos while I was riding the trains. And do you know that you can ride any train anywhere that you want in the entire Chicago area for an entire weekend just for $7? The people who get to live in the Chicago area are such lucky fucking bastards because they have so many trains to ride. And for an entire weekend just for $7. On Saturday, I decided to ride a train from Villa Park to Geneva. And the first time that I rode a train to Geneva was when I was only 10 years old, and that was back in the days before I had any pubic hair. I didn't start getting pubic hair until just before I turned 13 years old, and that was less than a month, and less than a month after I turned 13 years old is when I decided to beat off for the first time. And it felt so good. But it wasn't until after I turned 14 before thick white stuff started squirting out of my penis when I would beat off. Now I remember having so much fun riding the train to Geneva, and that was back in the days when they had those green and yellow Chicago and Northwestern trains, which has since been replaced by Metro. But I really miss those green and yellow Chicago and Northwestern trains. On Sunday, I rode a train from Roselle to Chicago, and then I took another train to Joliet. And getting to ride a train to Joliet was so much fun. Something had to happen to ruin and had to spoil my final train ride I would take because a group of rowdy, obnoxious assholes had to get on the train. They are the type of people who have to talk real loud, which I can't fucking stand, because they think that they are God's gift to the universe, and things got to the point that there was an altercation between them and a couple of other passengers on the train, and because I was listening to music, I don't know exactly what transpired, but this one woman told those assholes to shut the fuck up. But she and her boyfriend were thrown off the train when those assholes should have been thrown off the train. They were singing some fight song for a football game or some bullshit like that, and they had to sing it real loud. And I'm willing to bet that those people were bullies who tormented kids with Asperger's syndrome when they were in school. With that in mind, it would be so nice to round people like that and put them in the oven. As I often think about how much better my life would be if this world didn't have any assholes in it, I am still glad that I got to spend the entire weekend riding trains. And I didn't have anyone to travel with, but traveling with most people ain't any fun anyway. I once traveled with someone, and I had to give up eating at any all-you-can-eat buffets because they don't like buffets, and that made me so fucking mad. But most people are arrogant, control-freak fucking scum who want everything their way, and they could care less about the things that make me happy. I did take my cat with me when I went to the Chicago area, and I discovered that sharing a motel room with a cat is a lot more fun than sharing a motel with most people, because most people are a bunch of boring, mediocre, stupid assholes. I discovered that sharing a motel room with a cat is even more fun than sharing a motel room with bitches and hoes. The sex might be good, but if I shared a motel room with bitches and hoes, I would wake up and my wallet would be stolen, and my car would be stolen, At the motel, the cat likes to sleep on the pillow right next to my head, and I don't have to worry about the cat picking my wallet. On my last day in the Chicago area, I decided to stop in Wheaton to make more videos of trains, and I remember how much I enjoyed riding my bike on the Illinois Prairie Path, and I really enjoyed watching those green and yellow Chicago Northwestern trains go by. But then as I got older, I discovered that Wheaton is a town that is controlled by a bunch of Bible-thumping assholes. It was pretty bad in the 80s. I hope it's better, a little bit better, but I don't know. The minister of the First Baptist Church of Wheaton would go into the video stores and get obscenity charges filed against them for having porno films, and the 7-Eleven in Wheaton was having all kinds of really nasty, explicit porno magazines. But the manager, but he managed to get the porno magazines out of the 7-Eleven. I hope that he has since croaked that fucking control freak, fucking dirtbag, fascist, fucking pig, trying to stick his nose in how people can live their lives. That fucking piece of fucking shit. I still won't forget the time when I was 11 years old, and that was back before I had any pubic hair, and I went for a bike ride. I went for a bike ride on the Illinois Prairie Path with my mother, and I went into the Wheaton train station saying over and over again, "I love your trains, I love your trains." And there's a good chance that I did that because I had Asperger's syndrome back then. Before I came home to Murderopolis, I stopped at Golden Corral in Rockford for my well-deserved feast, which is an all-you-can-eat buffet. And I have been eating at that Golden Corral since October 24, 2007, when I got sick and I threw up and it splattered all over the bathroom stall. And the first thing I did 5.5 years later is I went to see if that throw-up was still there, but it wasn't. Someone actually had to go in there and clean it up. Well, I enjoyed my feast at the Golden Corral, and I didn't throw up this time, so I'm very happy about that. I felt the feeling of calm while I was standing on the bridge on the Illinois Prairie Path watching the trains go by, and Wheaton seems like such a nice, quaint town. Too bad all those fascist Christians have to live there. I miss the Chicago area. The people who get to live there have so many trains to ride, those lucky fucking bastards. And I'm slowly but surely putting my train videos for my Chicago area trip up on YouTube.